On today's episode of The Way In, we're going to do a deep dive into how to successfully run a franchise business. If you're an entrepreneur, let's talk a little bit about the pros and the cons about being in the franchising business. So the obvious pros are the experience. If a franchisor has probably been through all of the good and the bad already, at least a lot of it. They've made a lot of the mistakes, financial mistakes, marketing mistakes, and they've also had good successes. You get the benefit of having that experience already completed in a package for you. That's one of the things that you're paying for. That's why you pay royalties in most franchises. Another great thing about it is you have a little bit of a safety net. And the safety net, I mean, you have someone else to ask. You're not the last stop. If there's a huge problem, you can pick up the phone and say, hey, this is happening right now. Can you help me? You're not the end all be all. And in business, that's kind of a nice safety net to have because you don't often get anything like that. The bottom line is they've got the playbook. They've got the tools already packaged for you. You just got to follow it. Here's the game plan, lay it out, do what it says, and help yourself win. Some of the cons are if you're ultra entrepreneurial spirited, you're going to have your wings clipped a little bit because you have to follow the rules and the guidelines of the franchise. That's what you're paying for. So if you think you're going to come into a franchise and redo how their trademarks look or how the operations and the systems go, you're not in the right business plan. You should probably go and do it alone. The other side to the con, if you're not good at playing well with others, franchising might not be good for you because not only do you have to play well with the franchisor, you're going to have to play really well with your other franchisees. And what I mean by that is you're going to have to communicate, network, share ideas, share resources, and you've got to understand that the model for franchising is you're in business for yourself, but not by yourself. So you have to understand how that dynamic works for a franchising business.
What are some of the biggest mistakes people make when getting into the franchising business?
I think some of the biggest mistakes people make when they're getting in the franchising business is they don't manage expectations really well. So let me give you an example of that. Someone might buy a franchise and think, well, the franchisor is going to just do everything and I could just sit back and take a blow and not do anything. And then nothing happens. And the franchisor gives instruction and direction, but then no one is taking the direction or the instruction. As a franchisee, in most systems, you do have to put some effort into the business and into the business model. The other side of that is you might be over enthusiastic about it and step ahead of the plan and whatever the direction is by the franchisor. And you get so far ahead, you start to make some mistakes and not realizing that it's a step process to, let's say, opening the business. And you slow everything down and you actually become your own worst enemy in the business. There's a fine balance of managing expectations when you're supposed to work with the franchisor. I think the second biggest mistake people make in franchising in their business is they become too passive. The business might be doing really well and then it levels off and the owner gets a little passive. They get, oh, things are going well, I'm going to take my foot off the gas. I'm not going to be as passionate, as enthusiastic about it as I was, year one or month one about the business. And what starts to happen is the business starts to have a decline and no one's paying attention to it close enough to those fine little declines. And next thing you know, the business has a reverse on its same store sales and the business starts to you can see the decline. The physical look of the business starts to change. A perfect example is a gym we're visiting here today. We visited with a brand new owner, just took this location over. It was an existing franchisee that had a passive attitude toward the business, and it showed. It showed in the numbers, it showed in the physical plant, the equipment, the way the club looked. New owner came in, revamped everything, a new set of energy. You could feel it in this place. I mean, the enthusiasm from the owners, but not that, but the members are excited, the customers are really excited. The place is buzzing and humming, and it looks fantastic. I mean, it cleaned up phenomenal. It just shows you how when you take that passive behavior away and put in the original enthusiastic behavior, this is a 9-year-old gym. It feels like it's year one again. It's amazing how true it is that the behavior, the passion means so much in business.
What are the most important factors to consider when opening a franchise?
I think when you're considering buying into a franchise system, I think one of the most important factors to consider is, do you like the product? It's hard to be passionate, enthusiastic about something you're just not into. It's usually a product you can consume, something you use or you like. That makes it the first decision, in my opinion. I think the next layer of decision, obviously, are the financials. What do they look like? I mean, everyone talks about, you get into business because you want to make money, so you have to understand what the financials look like, and is that enticing? And those are kind of tertiary. They're almost as important as each other, but I think they're both really, really important. Right below that would be, how does the franchise system operate? What services are you going to get as a franchisee? And then you have to make a decision, does that align with you as a person? Does it require a lot of hours? You have to get in there and slice the meat in the back? Or is it something where it can be run by a manager or management, and you can be a business owner up here just making the bigger decisions? And where does that work in your current lifestyle? If you have another company you might work for, if you have another career and this is just an investment, a business investment, you have to look at the dynamics and then shape it for you, and then see, does that franchise fit? The one recommendation I always have is, do not try to fit the round peg into the square hole, because if you force it, inevitably at the end, it will become just a bad situation for you. So you really got to check all those boxes off, in my opinion. You got to like the product, you got to make sure it's got a good financial look to it. Then does it fit into your lifestyle? If I own this business, am I gonna have to be there 70, 80 hours a week? Or can I manage this business with X amount of hours a week, but have a management layer in there? Is their system designed that way? I think the last factor is do you like the culture? Is the culture of that business, something you could fit into? Because franchising, remember, it's a network, it's people, and some of the cultures you just might not like. I believe in Retro Fitness, we built an amazing culture. It's almost family-like. And our franchisees, they talk a lot. A lot of them are friends, and some of them are family, even my family. And that's interesting. That's interesting about the culture. And you need to understand that too. That's something you have to do a little bit of a deeper dive to find out that last bit of information. But all of those are important things to do before you make a decision.
How do you effectively evaluate real estate when identifying a new location for a franchise?
We have a tremendous process when it comes to evaluating real estate, because it's such an important part. Most of our franchisees sign 10-year leases and with options, so some of them go up to 20 years. One of the most important strategies is looking first at the demographic analysis. What is the lay of the land? The incomes, the density, the population, we need all those factors. We have a software platform that we use at Retro, and we overlay some data points that we have from so many years being in business and having so many members. We have a lot of data that helps us analyze, good markets from decent markets from fantastic markets. And even then, when you have all this information, it still doesn't replace getting boots on the ground, getting out there, going into the area, looking at the physical plant, looking at the building, checking the parking lot, ceiling heights. Is the right power coming to the building? You can have a great location, best corner, and you might need 800 amps for your business of power, and it only has 200 amps, and there's a huge expense associated with bringing that power to the building. Is that worth it for you to invest in that? Because you got to add it into the whole big picture of the overall investment. That plays part and parcel into the whole opportunity is the real estate and the cost of the real estate, not just the price per square foot on the location, but everything else involved in getting it to a finished product. We do a lot of deep diving on all of this, from having contractors come on site and actually look at the physical buildings in certain areas. We use all of the tools we can at our fingertips today, and it keeps getting better. We've actually evolved this process over the last 10 years. I think we've got it to a really good place, but I'm sure in the next year or two, if technology gets even better and we can use more services to figure out more things and dive deeper on demographic data, we will. Because the more detailed information we have and we can get, the better opportunity we have to win in any given market. Because there's no crystal ball. We don't know exactly how well a store is going to perform. But the more homework we do, the more information we gather, gives us the best opportunity to win.
What makes a great franchisee?
I think some of the traits that make a great franchisee are the intangibles. Their enthusiasm as a personality. I think people that are excitable, that can really put their passion behind their business, and that really believe in it. We call it drinking the Kool-Aid. People that really get into it and they drink the Kool-Aid, that are passionate about it, they're always going to have a little bit of an edge. We just met Steve out here today and his wife, and both he and his wife, they come into the gym, they work out with the members, they engage with their people, they've gone to dinner with some of them, they've just did an awesome, cool party with them in New York. That's something that's a secret sauce. That's an ingredient that I can't teach you, that you just either have it or you don't. And when franchisees come with that enthusiasm, that passion, and you can see it. When you've got it, when you're that enthusiastic about something, I can smell it a mile away. But when they have that X factor, that to me gives me such confidence in their ability to be successful through all of the good and the bad. I mean, because you're going to get headwinds. It's business. You're going to have headwinds. But when you're that enthusiastic, you just cut right through those headwinds when you have that kind of enthusiasm as a person. And when I get franchisees that come to us and they're that excited, I said, this person is going to be successful. No matter how hard it gets, they're going to be successful because they're going to keep fighting, they're going to keep pushing, and they're not going to give up. The enthusiasm, the passion, in fact, I talk about this in my book, Just Make Money. I speak to this. It takes you so much further when everything else is pulling you back. That's a great element that I like to see in a franchisee when they come to apply for a Retro Fitness franchise. If someone wants to learn more about franchising with Retro Fitness, we have ownaretro.com, and you can also go to retrofitness.com, and we have a franchising link there, and there's tons of information. And we always recommend, once you get through all that information, is to come visit us at one of our discovery days. We host them every single month, and we do that so we can learn more about you, and you can learn more about us and meet our team. If you enjoyed this video, hit the like button, share it with your friends. If you have any comments, leave them below. And again, thanks for watching.